Alrighty, good morning everybody. We have a video we're going to be talking about how to go about your program selection, how to use PTCAS and the PTCAS program comparison tool to help you in your search with program selection. And like we mentioned in our video on Friday, program selection is becoming the new paradigm shift of the sooner you start deciding which programs you actually want to go to, the sooner you can actually start making informed decisions about what you need to do to get ready to apply to that program. Okay, so I've added several different programs here. Some of these are ones that I applied to or was considering applying to. So this is UNLV, or University of Nevada, Las Vegas, NAU, Northern Arizona, Angelo State, and Eastern Washington. Okay, so we can go through and we can look at cost of tuition, have a shot-by-shot comparison. That gives us a lot of great information to say, okay, so far, if I'm an out-of-state applicant, Angelo State is the best one. Otherwise, these other ones are pretty similar in terms of their cost, okay? You can also look at class size. You can look at percent of in versus out-of-state accepted residents. That gives you good information as well that can help you decide. Some programs are going to give you more information than others, right? And you can go down through and look at all these other different kinds of demographics. If there's a supplemental fee, you can look at that. And then there's information about the GRE. So this is for Angelo State. They give us information about the GRE. So their average verbal score, 153, average quant score, 153. Okay. So if you're asking yourself, what are my target GRE scores? You want to look at these because this is what the average accepted students from their previous class received as their scores, okay? And then minimum and average, okay? So 4 on the analytical writing. And then you go down and you look at observation hours, okay? So this is important because some give a required amount, some don't have a required amount. If there's a 0 listed here, this is a follow-up question I would ask. I would say like, okay, is there an optimal number of hours that you're looking for that applicants have completed? Because getting observation hours, unless you're working as a tech, can be a very time-consuming activity. And if you don't need to get that many hours, then that will allow you to free up some time to be devoted towards other things. We have our general rule of thumb of the 3-5-4-6 rule, 300 to 500 hours spread across 4 to 6 different settings. But that is becoming more of a general rule of thumb. And if you want to be more specific, you need to look specifically at the number of required hours that PT schools require, and then follow that up with an email to a program liaison asking them, okay, so you list your minimum as 0 or 100 hours. Is that actually accurate with the average number of hours that your students who are getting accepted have? Then we come down here and we can look at GPA. Okay, so minimum overall required GPA, pretty much standard, 3.0, 3.0 for prerequisite, as well as cumulative GPA. So if your GPA is below that, let's say I'm an applicant, I have a 3.4 cumulative and a 2.9 prerequisite GPA. If I look at this and I say, oh shoot, I'm going to have to retake a prerequisite course so I can get above a 3.0, then that is an email that you would send to the program and you would ask them, you would say, okay, this is my current prerequisite GPA. If I retake this course, it's going to put me at a 3.1. Do you all accept retakes as a part of your cumulative GPA, or do you factor in all of the grades together? And then you can go to a GPA calculator based on their answer, and that can give you more information, okay? So average overall GPA for cumulative, 3.63. This is for UNLV, okay? So that gives us good information. Program-specific prereq, 3.66. And then Angelo State, 3.5, 3.6. Eastern Washington's is crazy. Cumulative GPA, 3.88. And average prereq is 3.8. So that's really high. If I have a 3.4, which program do you think I have the best shot of getting into? Okay, right here. 3.4. But my prerequisite GPA is pretty low. So if I want to be more competitive, I'm going to look and say, okay, I've got at least one prereq I need to retake to get above that 3.0 threshold. What can I do to get as close as possible to that 3.6 threshold? And then this gives you a more specific, a more targeted approach with your application planning and some applicants can struggle with getting into the weeds of that. So if you are looking to get help with creating a personalized application plan, you definitely should reach out to us. You can either comment down below or send us a DM, and we'd be more than happy to help you out. So this is just a quick video. I hope this is helpful for you to show how beneficial the PTCAS program comparison tool is, and how much information you can get. This is a starting point. So after I look at all of this overview, I'm going to go to the program specific website and hammer in and dial in and really determine what these numbers are. And I write down questions that I have, reach out to program liaison via, most likely it's going to be via email, and ask them questions that are going to help me to get a more clear picture of what I need to do to become as competitive as possible when applying to that program. If you look at all of these different things as an applicant and you're like, oh my gosh, like there's no way I'm going to be able to get all this stuff done. Okay, well then maybe you need to go and look at other programs and use the comparison tool to help you decide which programs you should start looking at more seriously. I cannot say this enough. The sooner you start this task, the easier getting into physical therapy school and the easier applying to physical therapy school is going to be for you. So if you're applying within this next application cycle to the next 3 years, you definitely should start using this tool and becoming familiar with it and identifying 10 to 15 programs you'd be interested in applying to. This does not mean that you will be applying to all of those programs, but it does mean that you're going to have a working list of 10 to 15, and you'll eventually narrow that down to 5 to 8 or 6 to 9 programs. Thanks so much. Hope this video has been helpful for you. Have an awesome rest of your day, and happy applying.